Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. Today on the program, the Miss Universe fever is on. Philippine bet Celeste Cortesi slays in the preliminary competition. We also get to know the story behind her Darna-inspired national costume. And what will it take to win our 5th Miss Universe crown? The beauty pageant scene is buzzing with excitement for the coronation of the next Miss Universe on Sunday. The candidates heated up the preliminary competition stage in their swimsuits and evening gowns, and then wowed the crowd in their national costumes in the lead up to the much anticipated grand finale. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Miss Universe Philippines Director for Communications Voltaire Tayag and accessories designer Jerome Navarro. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Hello,
Hi, Ria.
welcome.
Good morning.
All right, Voltaire, let's start with you. You know, the Miss Universe season is definitely on. It is heating up. And of course, Pinoy pageant fans can't help but talk about Celeste Cortesi's performance in the preliminaries. You were there. You told me off camera you're still recovering from the other night. How would you assess her performance? Did she exceed your expectations?
No, from the organization point of view, because we've had a discussion earlier, we are so proud of her. We're very proud of the performance, and we know that she's done everything that she could, given all the preparations, and there's nothing else that we could ask for from her.
Right, so she was doing her best and more. When you look back at the preparations, what did you do that was exceptional or extraordinary or different, if anything, compared to how her predecessors were prepared?
Well, every year what we do is really collaborate and talk to the winners, because we're not the ones who are going to be competing, but it's really their journey. It's really their adventure and experience. So we always make sure that the way we train them is focused on developing their assets and their strengths and what makes them comfortable, what makes them beautiful, what makes them feel beautiful. That's what we always focus on. We don't have a template or a formula to try to implement every year. So every year we focus on the particular winner. And I think that's what makes the difference in sending our delegates.
Right, because each girl is different. You talk about playing up their assets and their talents. For Celeste Cortesi, what are those? What are her greatest strengths?
Well, easily I know that her greatest strength for me is her authenticity, because a lot of people, when they meet her, when they see her in person, they feel her energy, they gravitate towards her. They feel that she's so charismatic and relatable. And I saw that firsthand when we were going through Los Angeles and in New Orleans at the airport. The people that she meets, people who aren't necessarily pageant fans, go up to her and are just drawn to her energy. And, that's an amazing trait, an amazing asset to have. And so I feel that that's her best trait.
So you're saying she has a certain sense of charisma?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just star quality, but it's that charisma. She looks like a goddess, but somebody who's relatable.
Right, right. And you can't train for that, right? I mean, in many ways, that charisma is something you have or you don't have. Now,
You don't.
Yeah, exactly. Were you able to speak to her after the prelims?
Well, ever since we got here, we've been talking every day throughout the day. One thing that people don't know is that the moment that the delegate goes into the Miss Universe pageant is we aren't allowed to see them or, even hand things to them, even if we saw them, at the hotel. Everything has to go through with the Miss Universe organization. But every day, throughout the day, we're always in touch. After the prelims, we talked about it. I actually let her rest a little bit, and I waited for her to message me before I gave my opinion on, because I knew she wanted to find out how we were feeling about it.
How was she feeling about it?
She felt great, and she was very happy. And one of the main things that she was saying is like she was finally able to show the cape in during the swimsuit competition, because that's the one that we were with Save the Children a few months ago. And that was something that we were both very excited about,
Yeah, I think it's something that's
because that's a
very
message that
meaningful
we really
to her.
wanted to show there.
Right. Okay, so, the Grand Coronation Night, that is on Sunday. What is the mood there now like at Miss Universe in New Orleans leading up to the big night?
The Filipinos are such amazing fans and such amazing support group. I'm walking around in New Orleans in a mall or on the street, and then you have random Filipinos coming up to me, thanking us, congratulating us, and showing their support. And that's something that we never take for granted, and something that we're always grateful for. And I do hope that even on social media that translates as well. And sometimes, not everybody is always as positive or as supportive, but you always tend to just know how to deal with that. And in certain cases, you just have to ignore it. But there's so much excitement over here. Even from the other countries, they would come up to us and congratulate us and tell us how amazing Celeste is and how she's done.
Fantastic. Now, one thing that fascinates me about these pageants are actually the things that we don't see, things that happen backstage. Can you tell us some stories about that, or maybe anecdotes that Celeste has told you about?
In the pageant, what sometimes some people don't see is you make changes depending on the stage or the backstage or the amount of time that they have to change. A lot of times during the preparations, when we came here, we're planning all these different hair and makeup, and the hair up, hair down, with waves or straight. But what happens is you have to be so adaptable, because you never know what type of stage or backstage is going to be, if it's going to be far. So you have to make those changes and decisions really quickly. But at the same time, when you make them, you have to be so confident and have that conviction to stick to it. And Celeste has been doing that every step of the way.
Fantastic. And as you said, once the delegates arrive and they're in the hotel and the pageant begins, you can't really see them, you can't hand them anything. So what is that like for them, that they have to do everything themselves, from hair and makeup to getting in and out of their outfits, right?
Yeah, actually, their lives are really beyond their control. Their schedules are really just given to them. And as much as you want to get more sleep, as much as you want to just be able to relax after doing photo shoots, you can't, because you have all these responsibilities and duties to the organization and to the sponsors. And so that's something that a lot of people don't see. And I wish that a lot more people would be more compassionate and understanding to the delegates when they are in the Miss Universe competition, because they don't see that aspect of all the sacrifices and the hard work that goes through that. They're expected to look great at 7 a.m. after having only 5 hours of sleep. I mean, try to do that on your own. So, try to imagine it, and then you'll understand.
Right. It's not like they're on vacation. It is a lot of work and a punishing schedule. Jerome, tell us a little bit about what the format is going to be for finals night. Would you know?
The format for the finals, I think I really have any idea on what gown they have chosen for the final night, but there will never be a national costume presentation anymore. It's just going to be an evening gown competition, a swimsuit competition.
All right. So, Jerome, pag-usapan natin ang Darna national costume ni Celeste, which really got a lot of compliments and a lot of attention. You were part of the team who made it. So, ikwento mo naman kung paano nabuo yung idea na to.
This idea was conceptualized by the group of Voltaire, Jonas Gafford, and Albert Andrada. I was approached by Albert Andrada if I could help in executing the metal works, the accessories, everything for the Darna costume. This is the drawing, the sketch given to me, and we discuss it on how to execute it. This picture will show Areola at the back of
Right, so it's sort
At the
of
back of
it's
Celeste,
reminiscent of the sun on the
metal.
Philippine flag.
These are metals, copper dipped in electroplated gold. And as you can see on the bra and on the panty, on the boots, armbands, these are all metals.
Right, the beautiful, beautiful detail on all of that. Jerome, gaano katagal ito ginawa? And what kind of, gaano katrabaho ang mga detalye na sinasabi mo dyan?
Well, I was given a short time of 10 days.
10 days.
December 5. Yeah, December 5. And I think Celeste left for the US December 15. We didn't have the chance to fit it to her. How tedious this has it been? I've asked 6 of my craftsmen to hammer those metals 16 hours a day just to
Six-
come up with this design.
16 hours a day for 10 days. And did you say that she didn't get to fit it?
Yeah, she didn't get to fit it here,
Wow.
only in the US because we've run out of time and somebody has to especially bring it for her.
Right. Now, when it came to the design and the conceptualization for this Darna outfit, did Celeste have any inputs in the execution of the look? What inputs or comments did she give?
Well, I think in the very first fitting, Celeste find it painful when it is inserted. The shoulder iron inserted on her shoulders and back. She found it very painful, and so we have to put some rubber and textile materials to lessen the touch of the iron material to the shoulders, to the skin.
Right. Well, looking at her photos, she doesn't appear to be in any kind of pain or discomfort. She's really, really working that outfit. Now, anong vision ni Darna ang gusto niyong dalhin ni Celeste on stage?
Well, if you will notice by history, Darna really, the costume of Darna is very simple. So we want Darna to be shining. So we added this areola at the back, big areola. Because when Darna shouts, there's usually smoke in the movies and teleseries. When she shouts Darna, actually smokes will appear. And how we will be able to interpret that on stage, instead of the smoke, we put that big areola at the back to make it shine. It's the representation of the Philippines shining through everywhere. The sun of the Philippines
That is
shining through everywhere.
beautiful. And what did you feel, Jerome, nung nakita mong suot na ni Celeste ang national costume?
Actually, even up to the last minute, I had doubts that she'll be wearing it, considering that she didn't get to fit it here in the Philippines. But of course, not just me, my whole family, my whole clan were so happy when we found out that finally it's the Darna costume I made.
Right, definitely something to be proud about. Now let's go back to Voltaire. Of course, this Miss Universe competition is far from over, even though Celeste did really well in the preliminary round. May ipapakita pa or pasabog pa ba si Celeste sa finals?
Well, there's going to be a new gown for the finals. And, of course, there's always that element of when it's the finals, the whole energy, the whole vibe changes. Because this is something that, and I just telling her this morning, I said, this is what you've been working hard for all these years and all these months. I said, so this is the time for you to give it all you've got. I've told her time and again that we believed in her from the very beginning and that she already has everything that it takes. All she needs to do is to believe in her destiny and to just let go.
That's right. And the hopes of a nation are pinned on her. No pressure, of course. But we are already very proud of her.
Also that, the reason why we wait until December is because we waited for the approval of the Ravello family to give us the blessing to use the costume for Celeste in the Miss Universe pageant, because we didn't just want to go ahead and just do it without their blessing, and we wanted to respect that. That's why we waited for them to say yes.
Oh, and everybody, I'm sure, is so glad that they did. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. That was Miss Universe Philippines Director for Communications Voltaire Tayag and Accessories Designer Jerome Navarro. We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo, and our source today, pageant expert Adam Genato. He is joining us live from New Orleans in the U.S. Good evening to you, Adam.
Good morning over there, Miss Ria. How have you been?
We're good. We are very excited because of the upcoming pageant. Now, you're in New Orleans as well. Talk to us about the mood there and what that was like during the Miss Universe preliminaries.
Well, the excitement is really up there, especially after Celeste Cortesi showcased everyone her graceful nature is executing her modeling poses from swimsuit until the national competition. A lot of Filipinos drove and went to New Orleans to personally witness that last night, and they weren't disappointed. Celeste was really a knockout in her swimsuit and national costumes turn during these two segments of the competition, and she was very elegantly divine when she came out in her sky blue Oliver Tolentino gown last night as well.
Yeah, truly a vision. And as well as she did in the preliminaries, the fact remains that she is up against some very stiff competition. So for you, who stood out among the 80-plus candidates? Who were the other early favorites?
Well, there's so many candidates who are really rising up to the occasion, but from my end, I feel Celeste will be facing an uphill battle against these Latinas right now, because most of them have really perfected the formula of IMG, the previous owner of the Miss Universe organization, in showing themselves that they have to what it takes to be the next Miss Universe winner. So I'm really looking at the candidates from Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Curacao, and Miss USA. So I'm looking at these five ladies.
Right, and
who
they are
be
also
Celeste's main rivals for the competition this coming Saturday night.
Yeah, they are also very, very stunning. But I understand the Miss Universe pageant is now under different management. What does that change for the pageant, if anything, and the way it's run and what they're looking for?
With a new change of ownership, now that it's under Madam Kun-an, JK, and Jokra Tatip's leadership, they're now looking for a woman who not just only possesses beauty, but also the complete package or the overall package as well. Since arriving here in New Orleans, every time Miss Anne would be interviewed by the media people, she has never forgotten to remind us that that the organization is not just looking for someone who's just beautiful, but someone who can really represent something more to the table, someone who can really uplift and empower. That this is her specific words, to empower her fellow. She's looking for that particular woman who can empower her fellow women in empowering themselves, in championing and improving the lives of these people of her community in the long run. So to her exact words, she's looking for that lady who has that transformational leadership quality, someone who can really take the brand, elevate the brand to the next level as well. Apart from helping her community becoming better themselves in
Sure.
this endeavor.
Now for Celeste, she's not a pageant newbie, right? She's been
Yes,
in
yes.
pageants, I think, since 2018 when she was Miss Earth Philippines. At the Miss Earth pageant, she placed, I believe it was 8th overall and won various other awards within that pageant. How do you think her experience is going to help her? Can you say it's something similar to a Pia Wurtzbach who had joined, Binibining Pilipinas for 3 times, I think, before she became Miss Philippines Universe?
Yes, it certainly helped that she has prior pageant experience before competing to Miss Universe. As we all know, it really helps talaga if a woman has that international pageant experience already. And with Celeste's case, Miss Ria, she has improved so much in terms of bettering herself as a candidate. If you can just see her remarkable improvement in terms of her communication skills from the time that she joined her first international pageant up to where she is at the moment, you could really see the difference. And at the same time, Celeste has just improved, has just matured and become more confident as a person, seasoned by her life experiences, coupled in between. So that really makes
do you think
Celeste
the
such a
fact
formidable candidate in Miss Universe as well. Because let's face it, whoever is being given the Miss Universe title eventually inherits this huge responsibility of conducting herself responsibly on social media favorably. Dapat the candidate or this eventual title holder will have the mental fortitude in navigating her reign in terms of how people such as pageant fans or even critics might perceive of her training, preparation.
So talk to us a little bit about what are her assets and her weaknesses. What are her greatest strengths and what are the things that she needs to work to improve?
No doubt, Celeste Cortesi's assets are her effortless beauty and communication skills. Her beauty, wow, if you put her side by side with a fellow Latinas, she can, go head toe to toe or head to head with all these ladies just because of her effortless beauty. And when it comes to communication skills, Miss Ria, she has that, like I've said earlier, she has improved so much. In fact, since arriving here in New Orleans, she has impressed even the pageant bloggers from other countries by granting them interviews and excelling with her answers, considering given that most of these questions given by the pageant bloggers or even the kind of media covering the Miss Universe pageant are giving her. So they have been really stunned by the improvement and progress that Celeste has showcased. On the other hand, if there is anything probably Celeste has to improve at this moment, I hope she'll become more personable towards the run-up of the pageant, because most of the time, let's face it, when Miss Universe usually crowns its winners, it has the candidate has to be someone who has, someone who has to be engaging with the public.
Sure.
And
so you don't think then it's a disadvantage that she wasn't raised in the Philippines, and hindi naging disadvantage that she wasn't raised in the Philippines, although she was born here, and the fact that she wasn't that fluent in English or Filipino when she started her pageant journey. Do you feel that's something she has already overcome?
I think so. This is my opinion about it. Celeste is no different from Catriona Gray, Pia Wurtzbach, and other half or biracial Filipino beauty queens who have represented our country in the international stage. For me, being Filipino has no distinct look. And even though Celeste has only spent 4 years in the country, she has shown so much progress in terms of addressing that. In fact, during her first pageant, you will really notice that you would really see her improvement, especially in the English language. So over the years, in those 4 years between her first pageant and her next, which is Miss Universe Philippines, you could really see that she is really trying her best. Sabi nga niya sa akin, Adam, alam niyo kung ang susunod kong kayang kung sa totoo na kaya ko rin naman aralin dito ng Tagalog. Bigyan niyo lang ako ng alam niyo ng 100% focus about it kasi she's navigating her reign din when it comes to fulfilling her duties as the outgoing Miss Universe Philippines winner. And learning Tagalog requires greater focus, great focus on her end. So eventually she will learn the language, the Tagalog or Filipino language deep in the long run.
So Adam, what is your fearless forecast? Hate to put you on the spot, but I will. What are her chances of bringing home the Philippines' 5th Miss Universe crown?
50-50. Like I've said earlier, she is up against these candidates from the Latin America, like Puerto Rico. I just heard your interview with Voltaire Tayag, and he's saying that they're coming up with something. They're coming out with something or a pasabog when it comes to her evening gown. So I'm really looking forward to that. The thing about Celeste is that she's really effortless when it comes to showcasing herself in the swimsuit and evening gown segments of the competition. And once she's given the chance to speak during the top 5 segment of the competition, then there is really a chance.
So you said top 5. So that's your fearless forecast. Papasok siya sa top 5.
Oo. O kasi alam mo, masipag si Celeste mag-train sa Q&A. Masipag siya. Talagang she has this, sabi nga ng mga kasamahan ko nagko-cover dito, meron siyang iPad full of information about all these hard-hitting topics that she and her trainers have been preparing for. So every time that she has a break or a free time, whether rehearsals or from sponsor activities, she really makes time to really check up on them in between. Dala-dala niya kahit saan. Kasi that's how serious she is in addressing her goal of becoming or bettering herself in terms of communication skills. And she has been acquitting herself on this aspect very far.
That's great.
Very, very favorably.
Yeah, good for her. Good for us. Best of luck to us on Sunday night. Adam Genato, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. All right. Sunday morning, I think it will be here in the Philippines.
You're welcome.
Thank all of you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Ria Tanwat Coutinho. You're watching CNN Philippines.